This VAWatchdog.org news video is brought to you by Bergman & Moore, LLC. Former VA attorneys now fighting VA for you. Call Bergman & Moore at 877-838-2889 or on the web at vetlawyers.com.
The government came under fire last year over the treatment of the wounded when shoddy conditions were exposed at Walter Reed Army Medical Center, and since then, the Army has overhauled its outpatient program. But David Martin reports many soldiers still are not getting the medical treatment they were promised.
In the wake of the Walter Reed scandal, 35 so-called warrior transition units were set up at bases around the world. There, soldiers would be cared for until they either returned to duty or were discharged. The general in charge of the program admits it hasn't worked the way it was supposed to. And here's why.
How many soldiers in these units were actually wounded in combat?
Right. About 12% were wounded in either Iraq or Afghanistan.
Only 12%?
Only 12%.
If you include those whose injuries could be called combat-related, a stressed-out soldier in a car accident after returning from Iraq, for instance, the percentage goes up to 48%. The rest have injuries or illnesses which have nothing to do with combat. As a result, the number of soldiers in warrior transition units exploded from 6,000 to 12,000, even as casualties in Iraq were going down.
We were putting soldiers into the warrior transition unit that really didn't need that complex managed care.
So did somebody say, hey, this isn't the way it was supposed to work?
I would say yes.
With the number of soldiers in transition units increasing by about 600 a month, the Army can't hire healthcare workers fast enough.
By the time we got the ratio up to where it needed to be, we were probably 30 to 60 days behind what the population had already grown to.
Last week, the Army tightened the medical conditions that qualify a soldier for a warrior transition unit. And a new order requires all units to be fully staffed by Monday. But some aren't going to make it. David Martin, CBS News, the Pentagon.
VAWatchdog.org, the nation's #1 independent veterans website. On the web at VAWatchdog.org.